In a world fraught with uncertainty, the search for meaning often leads us to ancient texts and prophecies. Today, we unravel one of the most enigmatic prophecies in the Bible, the mysterious entities of Gog and Magog. Who are they? What do they represent? And why do their predictions still resonate today? Introduction to Ezekiel 38 and 39. In Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, we encounter a profound and vivid prophecy that speaks of a northern invasion of Israel. This prophecy captures the imagination with its rich and dramatic imagery. Picture an immense force descending upon the land, arriving like a storm, and covering the land like a cloud. This powerful metaphor not only underscores the overwhelming nature of the invasion but also sets the stage for a dramatic divine intervention. Ezekiel's prophecy describes a scenario where Israel, seemingly outnumbered and outmaneuvered, faces an imminent and catastrophic threat. The invaders, led by Gog from the land of Magog, are depicted as a formidable coalition of nations, united with the purpose of looting and destroying Israel. The sheer scale of this impending disaster paints a bleak picture of doom and devastation. However, amidst this chaos and apparent hopelessness, the prophecy takes a remarkable turn. God promises to intervene in a decisive and miraculous manner. This intervention is not just a display of divine power but also a testament to God's unwavering commitment to protecting and restoring Israel. The prophecy assures that despite the overwhelming odds, Israel will not be forsaken. Instead, God's intervention will thwart the invaders and reaffirm His sovereignty and holiness. This dramatic narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring faith and hope that the ancient texts continue to inspire. It challenges us to reflect on the deeper meanings behind these prophecies and their relevance in our contemporary world, where uncertainty and turmoil often prevail. Detailed prophecy, Ezekiel 38 8-16. In Ezekiel 38 8-16, the prophecy delves deeper into the specifics of this foreseen invasion. It is foretold that this invasion will occur in the latter years, a term often interpreted to mean a distant future, hinting at the end times. This timing imbues the prophecy with a sense of urgency and significance, as it speaks to events that are yet to unfold, possibly even in our own time. The prophecy describes a remarkable scenario where Israel, having been scattered across the globe, will be brought back from many nations. This return is not just a physical relocation, but a significant spiritual and cultural restoration. The people of Israel will once again inhabit their ancestral land and will dwell safely. This period of safety and security is crucial, as it sets the stage for the impending conflict. The tranquility and prosperity of Israel will make the sudden threat of invasion even more startling. Ezekiel uses powerful imagery to describe the invading forces, emphasizing their vast numbers and overwhelming presence. These forces are depicted as covering the land like a storm, a metaphor that evokes a sense of impending doom and uncontrollable power. The invaders, led by Gog, come with the intent to plunder and destroy, casting a shadow over the peaceful land of Israel. However, amidst this looming catastrophe, the prophecy highlights a decisive and miraculous intervention by God. It is God Himself who will rise to defend Israel. This divine intervention is not only a rescue mission, but also a demonstration of God's supreme power and authority. The prophecy assures that despite the formidable appearance of the invaders, their plans will be thwarted. God's intervention will turn the tide, bringing confusion and defeat to the invading forces. This detailed prophecy, rich with vivid imagery and profound promises, reinforces the theme of divine protection and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. It invites us to reflect on the significance of these ancient words and their implications for our understanding of faith, resilience, and the power of divine intervention in the face of overwhelming odds. Invasion description. In Ezekiel's prophecy, the key figure leading the invasion is Gog, hailing from the land of Magog. Gog is portrayed as a powerful and malevolent leader, orchestrating a formidable coalition of nations. This coalition is not just a random assembly of countries but a carefully organized alliance with a singular objective, the destruction of Israel. The coalition that joins Gog in this invasion is extensive and diverse, reflecting the global scale of this conflict. Nations from different regions come together, united by their common intent to plunder and devastate Israel. This alliance includes prominent nations of Ezekiel's time, such as Persia, modern-day Iran, Kush, often associated with regions in Africa, and Put, linked to parts of North Africa, among others. The prophecy's inclusion of these diverse nations underscores the breadth of the threat facing Israel. The objective of this invasion is clear and sinister. The coalition seeks to loot and destroy Israel, targeting its wealth, resources, and people. This intent to plunder is driven by greed and a desire to dominate. The imagery of the invaders covering the land like a storm highlights the sheer magnitude of the threat and the sense of imminent disaster. As the invaders descend upon Israel, the prophecy paints a vivid picture of chaos and impending doom. The peaceful and prosperous land of Israel suddenly finds itself under siege, facing an overwhelming force determined to erase its existence. This stark contrast between Israel's initial state of safety and the sudden, violent invasion heightens the dramatic tension of the prophecy. The prophecy's description of the invasion serves as a powerful reminder of the perils that Israel faces and the relentless forces that seek its downfall. However, it also sets the stage for the miraculous divine intervention that follows, highlighting the ultimate triumph of God's protection over the forces of destruction. This narrative invites us to reflect on the deeper spiritual lessons embedded in the prophecy, encouraging us to consider the themes of faith, resilience, and divine justice in the face of overwhelming adversity. God's response and prophecy fulfillment. In Ezekiel's prophecy, the moment of divine intervention is both dramatic and decisive. As the invading forces led by Gog descend upon Israel, God's response is immediate and powerful. The first sign of this divine intervention is a great earthquake in Israel. This earthquake is not merely a natural disaster but a manifestation of God's immense power. The ground shakes violently, symbolizing the very foundation of the invading forces being disrupted. The earthquake triggers a series of natural disasters that further compound the confusion and panic among the invaders. These disasters include torrential rains, hailstones, fire, and brimstone. Such cataclysmic events not only wreak havoc on the physical terrain but also disorient and scatter the invading armies. The forces that once seemed invincible are now thrown into chaos, their plans unraveled by the sheer power of the natural elements. In the midst of this turmoil, the prophecy vividly describes how the invaders turn against each other in confusion and fear. Friend and foe become indistinguishable as panic sets in, leading to internal conflict and further weakening their resolve. The once cohesive coalition crumbles from within, unable to withstand the onslaught of divine retribution. This divine intervention is not just a display of raw power but a profound demonstration of God's holiness and justice. The prophecy makes it clear that the invasion is allowed to occur so that God's intervention can serve as a testament to His sovereignty and glory. By decisively defeating the invaders, through miraculous means, God reaffirms His commitment to protecting Israel and upholding His covenant with His people. The fulfillment of this prophecy underscores several key themes. It highlights the vulnerability of human endeavors against the backdrop of divine will. It also emphasizes the concept of divine justice, where the wicked are punished, and the faithful are protected. This dramatic narrative serves as a powerful reminder of God's ultimate control over the forces of chaos and destruction. Through this prophecy, we are invited to reflect on the nature of divine intervention in our own lives. It challenges us to trust in God's power and to recognize the signs of His presence and protection, even in the midst of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Outcome of the invasion. In the aftermath of the invasion led by Gog, the prophecy in Ezekiel reveals a dramatic and thorough defeat of the invaders. God's intervention results in a complete and undeniable victory for Israel, with the consequences of this defeat serving as a powerful testament to divine justice and power. The prophecy details how the weapons of the defeated invaders will be repurposed as fuel for 7 years. This vivid imagery highlights the totality of the victory. So great is the destruction of the invading forces that their vast arsenal will provide sufficient fuel for Israel for an extended period. This repurposing of weapons serves as a symbol of turning instruments of war into resources for peace and sustainability, demonstrating God's transformative power. Furthermore, the prophecy states that it will take 7 months to bury the dead. This extended period required for burial underscores the sheer scale of the defeat, and the overwhelming number of fallen invaders. The land will be so littered with the remnants of the defeated forces that a dedicated effort over many months will be necessary to cleanse the land and restore it to a state of peace. The aftermath of the invasion will not be hidden or obscure but will be evident to all nations. God's judgment, executed through these extraordinary events, will be a clear and undeniable demonstration of His power and holiness. The complete and utter defeat of the invaders will serve as a stark reminder to the nations of the world of God's sovereignty and His commitment to protecting and restoring Israel. This prophecy's outcome emphasizes the themes of divine retribution and restoration. It reassures the faithful that despite the appearance of imminent destruction, God's plan will ultimately prevail. The extended period of using the invaders' weapons as fuel and the lengthy process of burying the dead also signify a period of reflection and acknowledgement of God's mighty works. Through these events, the prophecy invites us to consider the profound implications of divine justice and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. It challenges us to reflect on the ways in which God's power can transform even the direst situations into opportunities for renewal and peace. This narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring promise of divine protection and the certainty of God's judgment against the forces of chaos and destruction. Significance of Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog hold a significant place in biblical prophecy, appearing not only in Ezekiel but also in the book of Revelation. Their mention in these two distinct contexts underscores their importance, and the enduring nature of their symbolism within the biblical narrative. In Ezekiel, Gog and Magog are depicted as a formidable coalition of nations set against Israel, intent on invasion and destruction. This coalition, led by Gog from the land of Magog, represents a powerful and malevolent force seeking to challenge Israel's security and sovereignty. The prophecy in Ezekiel describes this coalition's ultimate defeat through divine intervention, showcasing God's protection over His chosen people and His ability to turn the tide against overwhelming odds. The book of Revelation revisits Gog and Magog in a future context, after the millennium. Here, they symbolize a renewed and final rebellion against God and His people. Despite the 1,000 years of peace and reign of Christ, the forces of evil, embodied by Gog and Magog, rise once again to challenge divine authority. This recurrence of Gog and Magog in Revelation highlights the persistent nature of opposition to God, even in the face of His manifest kingdom. In both contexts, Gog and Magog represent the recurring theme of a coalition against Israel. They symbolize the ongoing struggle between good and evil, faithfulness and rebellion, and the worldly powers against divine sovereignty. This dual mention before and after the millennium serves to emphasize the cyclical nature of this spiritual conflict and the ultimate need for divine intervention. The prophecies of Gog and Magog also highlight God's ultimate control over the forces of chaos and destruction. Despite the apparent power and might of these coalitions, their defeat is assured through God's decisive actions. This underscores the theme of divine sovereignty, and the futility of resisting God's will. Furthermore, the prophecies assure the future restoration of Israel. The defeat of Gog and Magog is not just a moment of divine retribution, but a step towards the ultimate restoration and peace for Israel. God's intervention and the subsequent transformation of the land signify his commitment to his promises and the enduring protection of his people. The significance of Gog and Magog invites us to reflect on the larger narrative of divine justice, the struggle between good and evil, and the assurance of God's ultimate victory. It encourages us to trust in God's plan and to recognize the ongoing relevance of these ancient prophecies in understanding our spiritual journey, and the unfolding of divine purposes in history. Israel's restoration. In the prophecy of Ezekiel, the story of Gog and Magog concludes not just with the defeat of the invaders, but with a profound promise of restoration and renewal for Israel. This divine restoration is characterized by three key elements: the outpouring of God's Spirit, a spiritual revival leading to the recognition of Jesus as the Messiah, and a future filled with peace and safety. First, the prophecy foretells how God will pour out his Spirit on the house of Israel. This outpouring is a transformative event, signifying a deep and abiding renewal of the nation's spiritual life. The infusion of God's Spirit brings about a profound change in the hearts and minds of the people, leading them towards greater faithfulness and devotion. This divine act symbolizes God's commitment to his covenant and his desire to bring his people into a closer, more intimate relationship with him. This spiritual renewal leads to a significant revival within Israel. The people of Israel will come to recognize and acknowledge Jesus as the Messiah. This recognition marks a pivotal moment in their spiritual journey, fulfilling the prophecies that have long pointed to the coming of the Messiah. The acceptance of Jesus as the Christ is a testament to the transformative power of God's Spirit and the fulfillment of divine promises. The prophecy also promises a future of peace and safety for Israel. After the tumultuous events of the invasion and its miraculous defeat, Israel is assured a period of tranquility and security. This promise is not just about physical safety from enemies but also encompasses a deep spiritual peace. It signifies the end of strife and the beginning of a harmonious and prosperous era for the nation. This future of peace and safety is a direct result of God's intervention and the nation's renewed faith. It highlights the themes of divine justice and mercy, demonstrating that even after periods of intense trial and tribulation, God's plan ultimately leads to restoration and blessing. The prophecy assures that Israel will not only survive but thrive, reflecting God's unwavering faithfulness to his people. The restoration of Israel as described in Ezekiel invites us to reflect on the broader implications of divine promises, and the nature of spiritual renewal. It encourages us to consider the transformative power of God's Spirit in our own lives and the profound peace that comes from recognizing and accepting divine truth. This narrative of restoration and renewal serves as a powerful reminder of the hope and assurance that come from faith in God's eternal plan. Call to prayer and witnessing. As we reflect on the profound prophecies of Ezekiel and the future restoration of Israel, it's important to consider our own role in these unfolding events. One of the most impactful actions we can take is to engage in heartfelt prayer and earnest witnessing. First, I encourage you to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem holds a central place in biblical prophecy and in the hearts of believers around the world. By praying for its peace, we align ourselves with God's desires for this holy city and its people. Our prayers can invoke divine intervention, bringing about tranquility and prosperity in a region often marred by conflict. Let us lift up our voices together, asking God to fulfill his promises of peace and restoration for Jerusalem and all of Israel. In addition to prayer, it is vital to witness to our Jewish friends about Jesus Christ. The prophecies we've discussed point to a future where Israel recognizes Jesus as the Messiah. We have a role to play in this divine plan by sharing the gospel with love, respect, and sensitivity. Witnessing is not about imposing our beliefs, but about offering the hope and salvation that comes through Christ. By sharing our faith, we can help illuminate the path to spiritual revival and eternal peace for those who have yet to embrace Jesus as the Messiah. In this way, our prayers and witness become powerful tools in God's hands, contributing to the fulfillment of His promises and the spread of His kingdom on earth. Let us be diligent in our efforts, trusting that God will work through us to bring about His divine purposes. At Decode Vale, we continuously explore profound topics like the prophecy of Gog and Magog, providing insights that go beyond surface-level interpretations. Our mission is to invite you, our viewers, to delve deeper into your spiritual journey. By examining these ancient prophecies and their modern-day implications, we aim to inspire a deeper understanding and a more meaningful connection to your faith. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the prophecy of Gog and Magog. We hope this exploration has provided you with valuable insights and sparked a deeper curiosity about your spiritual path. Remember, this is Decode Vale, where we decode the mysteries of faith, one revelation at a time. If you found this video impactful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts and engage with our community, as we continue to seek and share profound spiritual truths. Until next time, stay curious and stay enlightened.